Straight all day.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is do not listen to yourself. Yes, do not listen to yourself. So if you're giving yourself some advice, or you have a great idea, or you're telling yourself this is how I'm going to deal with this situation, maybe listening to you might not be the best thing to do. Now, I'll get into explaining what I mean by this in a moment. First of all, let me tell everybody I have a daily motivation text that I send out free of charge to everyone who's in my text community. This message is guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. You want to get that message, text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. Every day when I send out the daily motivation, you will be receiving it, at least as of now, because as I told you a couple days ago, all the phone carriers are increasing the pricing of sending texts and things like that because they're trying to block all these robo-texters. Any of you get those spam text messages, like random texts from numbers that you don't know, and people talking to you like they know you, like, hey, this is Sam, or hey, you want to go to the beach next weekend? I get a bunch of those texts like every day. I know y'all been getting them too. So they're basically raising the prices of sending text messages for anybody, even those of us who are doing it, we're following the rules. They're raising the price on everybody. So as of today, I am still sending my daily motivation text, but we may make adjustments to that. But either way, text me. I'm still going to have a text community. I just don't know what the future holds for how exactly we're going to do it starting in September. By the time you hear this, is already September, so you already see what I'm doing. But I'm recording this in August. But anyway, text me anyway. That is to be determined. Let's just put it that way. Now, other thing I want you to do before I even get into this episode is go to workonyourgame.net. That's where you can access my 45-minute training, which is how to increase your income. This is specifically for those of you at the 6-figure level, want to get to the 7-figure level, but you want to do it without having to run even faster than you're already running on the treadmill of your business. And those of you who feel like you're running on the treadmill, you feel like you're in that tactical hell. Even if you never heard that phrase, you automatically know what it means. If you want to get out of that while producing more results with less effort and giving less time and not killing yourself as much, guess what? There is a way to do it, and I can help you do that strategically and systematically. Just go to workonyourgame.net, watch my 45-minute training. At the end of that training, I'm going to tell you how to schedule a call with me. Get on a call with me. We will talk about what we need to talk about, and I'll tell you how I can help you, what that will look like, all of that. That is all at workonyourgame.net. Now, let's get into this topic, which is do not listen to yourself. Now, this is a knowledge versus wisdom topic, folks, meaning there are times when you should follow certain pieces of information and times when not to follow it. So when I say don't listen to yourself, that doesn't mean ignore everything that you say to yourself, okay? There are times when you should listen to yourself, and it's a good idea, and there are times when you should not. Today's episode, this episode alone, is about the times when you should not listen to yourself, okay? So I need you to listen to this in context and understand that sometimes your best thinking and your best advice to yourself is not the best thinking or the best advice. It's just your best advice. And you shouldn't listen to that. Maybe you should listen to someone or something else. Everybody got it? Okay, now we got that disclaimer out of the way. Now let me tell you where this came from. Actually, I was listening to this guy named Myron Golden, who's a pretty good, he's a business coach, speaker, and he was telling this story about how he needed to get his car fixed. Like, he had this luxury vehicle. I don't remember what kind of car it was. I think he was talking about a Bentley. But he had this luxury vehicle, and the mechanic, he had put all his money into fixing the car up and all this stuff. And the mechanic said to him, you need to get a new battery for your car. And Myron, the owner of the car, said, I'm not getting a battery for the car. And he basically blew off what the mechanic was saying to him, because he was assuming, the owner of the car was assuming that the mechanic was simply just trying to get some more money out of him. He was just telling me I need to get a battery. I don't really need a battery. He's just trying to get some money out of me. I ain't listening to what he's saying. He's just a salesperson. So he ignored what the mechanic was telling him. But then all these other things started to go wrong with the car, and he had to fix this and this and this. He ended up putting like 20 grand of money into fixing other parts of the car. And then he finally realized, after putting 20 grand into fixing other parts of the car, that if he had just fixed the battery for $600 in the first place, all the other things never would have went wrong. And when he was telling that, And all this happened because he didn't listen to the mechanic who was telling him, yo, just replace the battery. And the mechanic didn't say all these other things are going to happen, but the mechanic said replace the battery. He didn't listen to him, and all these other things ended up going wrong. So when he said that, it sparked the idea in me, because that isn't even what the point of his, whatever he was saying, the video I was watching, it wasn't even about that. But it sparked the idea in me, because this is what I do. All right, for those of you who don't know, I'm a sponge. I can hear somebody talking about a story or making a point, and I can take some little innocuous thing from their story and extrapolate on it and come up with my own idea, which is exactly what I'm doing here today. So thank you for Myron for seeding that idea in my mind. Now I'm going to take it from a hot line, what he said, to a hot song, which is what I'm going to create here in today's episode. The topic, once again, is do not listen to yourself. Point number one. Today's topic, again, do not listen to yourself. Listen to the advice of your experts, coaches, and mentors. And let me tell you, especially when you should listen to them. Especially when what they are telling you is running counter to what you think. I'm pausing there to let that one sink in. When your coaches, mentors, and experts, like your auto mechanic or your business coach or your personal trainer, tells you something that runs counter to what your conventional wisdom says, listen to them. Why? Why you should listen to them instead of listening to you is because there's a reason why they are your expert, coach, or mentor, because they know some things that you don't know. That's why you should listen to them instead of listening to you. This point right here is huge for anybody who's looking to grow. You see, here's the thing. If we just look at this logically, right? How did you get to the point that you are right now in your life? Right? Actually, let me not ask that question of everybody. Let me exclude a few of you. Any of you who's ever had a coach, a business coach, let's just talk business. Sorry, let's just talk business. Sorry. Any of you who's ever had a business coach or any type of professional coach, or you've invested in any type of professional development, you've had some professional training, you've had a coach, you joined any kind of coaching program or cohort or something like that, something that you did on your own volition. I'm not even talking like your job provided it, but you did it on your own. You went and found someone or something and you invested in it. I'm excluding all of you. Okay, so everyone who's already done that, I'm not talking to you. But I want you to think about yourself before you ever did that, right? How did you get to that point before you ever invested in anything? How did you get there? You got there by listening to yourself, following your own hunches, following your own ideas, basically following your own best information and your own best knowledge, right? That's how you got to the point that you're at, right? Now, here's the thing. In order for you to get to another level, you understand and you understood, those of you who have invested in yourselves before, that at some point you're going to need to get some outside information or some outside insight from someone other than yourself, because they can help you kind of multiply your success and move yourself along faster and further than you would just doing everything by yourself, which is why you eventually made the decision to invest in yourself through investing with someone or something outside of yourself. All right, this is pretty much the way that it works. This is why we do it. There's only so far you're going to go on your own. This is why you go get help from others. And again, maybe you could get there on your own eventually, but it would take you a lot longer, and you would get there. It would take you a lot more effort, and it would take you a lot longer in order to make it happen. All right, that's why this point is so huge for anybody who is serious about your growth and advancement. Because a good coach or trainer, understand that their job is not just to motivate you to do more of what you are already doing, and especially not more of what you already think you need to be doing. Because if that's all they were doing, you probably wouldn't need a coach or trainer, or you probably wouldn't go get a coach or trainer if you believed that all they were going to do is have you do more of the stuff that you already want to do. Okay, this is a very important point for many of you, because I hear from a lot of people who tell me, well, I want to be more successful. I want to create more success. I want to make more money. I want to get to the next level, etc., etc. And they say, well, all I need to do is, and then they fill in the blank with what they think they need to do to get to the next level. Well, here's the truth. If that's all you needed, then you could probably get there on your own. And here's another truth. You're probably not going to get there on your own, because that's not all you need. See, you need some things that you never would have thought of or done or come up with by yourself. That's why you get outside help. This is why Beyonce has a voice coach. Why does Beyonce need a voice coach? This is why LeBron James has a trainer. Now, why does LeBron James need a trainer? All right, they're both pretty damn good at what they do. Why? This is why the best actors out there, The Rock, has an acting coach. Why? Now, he's already pretty good at what he does. Why do these people have outside help when they're already at the top of the list in the thing that they do? is because they understand inherently that there are certain things that other people will be able to see and point out and help them with that they otherwise would not notice on their own. Remember this phrase, people: you cannot see yourself in the mirror. There are certain things you won't see in you that other people can see in you, and understand they don't need to be better than you in order to help you. They just need to have the insight to give you what you need so that you can take your game to the next level. All right, Beyonce's voice coach is not a better singer than Beyonce. LeBron's trainer is not a better player than LeBron, and The Rock's actor is not a better actor than The Rock. But those people, they trust these people who are around them, who are in their circles, because those people's job is not to be better than them. The people's job is to have insight and notice things that they can't see on their own. This is a very important point for any of you who really wants to grow and you want to get to the next level in the thing that you're doing. All right, it is not just you need to do more of the things that you think. You need to do some things that you're not even aware of. Yeah, your brain will never even consider the ideas of what a good coach or trainer or mentor or expert will tell you. That's why you get them. So here I'll give you another pro tip here. When you get yourself a trainer, coach, mentor, expert, etc. to help you out, they should be telling you some things or showing you some things or asking you some things even that you had never even thought of. You should have that happen. Like when I'm talking to anyone who I'm coaching, and anybody who's ever been coached by me, you should be nodding your head in agreement with this. And if you're not, then I didn't do my job. But whenever I'm working with somebody as a coach, I want them at some point in our conversations to say, damn, I never thought of that. I never considered that. That's a good question that I never even asked myself. That should happen with every single person I coach. Somebody, you're going to say that. You're going to say, I never thought of that. I never considered that. That never occurred to me. Why? Because my job is not necessarily to help you do more of what you already thought you needed to do. You could do that without me. Now, I'm going to help you do some more of what you're already doing, but I'm also going to give you some insights that's going to make you say, damn. I'm going to give you some light bulb moments. That's what we'll call that. Or an aha moment, some of you may call it. Or as I'm calling it, an insight. Something that you just hadn't thought of because it's just a different way of thinking. Not necessarily better, just different. That's what a good expert or mentor or coach or trainer should do for everyone who they work with. Any of you who works as an expert, mentor, coach, or trainer, you should be having this happen as well. You should have people saying that to you. See, a good one is always going to show you stuff that you didn't even, again, your brain never even considered. This is why you need a coach. All right, they're the teacher, you're the student for a reason. And sometimes this flips around. All right, I talked about this in an episode. Let me tell you what episode that was so all of you can go and listen to it. That was episode number 1415. Competence of a teacher, humility of a student. Now, you just have to know when to switch between each role. All right? Many of us, including myself, there are times when I'm the teacher. Like right now when I'm on this mic, I am speaking as the teacher with the competence of a teacher. But when I'm in a training program, I'm in three. Right now I'm in 3 different programs that I actively pay money for access to information from people who know things that I don't know. So when I'm in those programs, I have the humility of a student. I'm quiet. I'm not talking. I'm listening. I'm taking notes. So you have to know when to flip between being a humble student and a competent teacher. And a good teacher should be giving you insights and saying, damn. They should have you saying, damn, I never thought of that. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I invested in this. Okay? So this is going to happen. Your coach or trainer is going to introduce you. This is what's going to happen. Listen. Your coach or trainer is going to introduce you to an idea or an activity that goes against your conventional wisdom. They're going to say, do this, try this. Have you thought of this? Let me ask you this. And what they say is going to go against what you thought, everything that you thought in these last 35 years of your life. You're going to say, I never thought about that. Or it's going to go against what you believe. Maybe it will be something you thought of and you thought the exact opposite of what they're telling you. And here's the inflection point right here. This right here is the inflection point. Because here you can either move yourself towards success by throwing away your old idea and adapting this new idea from this person who you have trusted to help you. I mean, remember, they are your coach, right? You trust them to help you, right? All right, so let them help you. Or you can move yourself towards failure and you can just keep thinking what you want to think. So the question is, are you going to listen and follow it? Or are you going to keep thinking what you want to think? Because if you just want to keep thinking what you want to think, then why'd you hire a coach? This is a good question too, right? Even though it goes against everything you have thought or believed in the last 65, 45, 25 years of your life, are you going to listen? That's the question. I'm going to just let that question sit there as we move on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is do not listen to yourself. Number 2, Remember what I told you about qualitative versus quantitative change? And if you didn't hear my episodes on that, this is one of my favorite episodes that I did here on the show. It's episodes 2228 and 2229. It's qualitative versus quantitative change, and you need to understand the difference between the two, because these differences are really the difference between people who they grow by addition versus people who grow by multiplication. All right, now you don't have to be a math whiz to understand the difference, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, but 1 times 10 is 10. So do you want to grow by adding, or do you want to grow by multiplying? And you do have a choice. Anybody who works on their game, you're going to grow. All right, now you can grow slow or you can grow fast. It's just your choice on how you want to grow. So remember what I told you in those episodes. Changes in quantity you can do on your own. So if I, for example, if I like to run outside, right? So if I want to run a little bit faster, I could probably do that on my own. If I'm running a 7:30 pace and I want to run 7:15, I could probably work my way to 7:15 on my own. I can work my way to 7 minutes. I can work my way to 6:45. Next 10K that I run, hopefully I can get under 6:40. And when I run, I could probably do that on my own. But if I want to go from 6:40 to like 6 minutes, I'm probably not going to do that on my own. I'm going to need a trainer, somebody who can show me some training methods that can get me to that speed, because I probably can't do that by myself. You understand what I'm saying? Changes in quantity you can do by yourself. And even when you're doing them, many people don't see the value in investing in help when you think you know the entire road that you need to go. Like if you think you know everything you need to know, you just need to do it, then why would you hire help? You wouldn't. Right? I talk to people all the time, text messages, emails, DMs, comments, and I talk to a lot of people who think they know everything that they need to do to reach whatever success goals I know everything I need to do, Dre. I just need to do it. All right? I hear that from people all the time. Most of the people that I talk to, I would say if I talk to 10 people, I would say 7 out of 10 say something like that sounds like what I just said. I want to reach, I'm at this level right here. I want to get to this level right here. I'm at a level 4. I want to get to a level 10. I know everything I need to do to get to a level 10. I just need to do it. That's what I hear from people all the time. Now, let me tell you the type of people that I work with. They don't say that. People who I work with say, I'm at a level 4. I want to get to a level 10. But there are some things that I know that I need that are outside of myself to help me get there. And I just need to find help. Those are the people who end up working with me. And I'm not saying that one is right and one is wrong. I'm just telling you what it is. So if you think you know everything that you need to get from where you are to where you want to go, here's my question. Why have you not done it yet? Oh, I just need to be more disciplined. I just need to work harder. I just need to believe in myself more. I just need to get more focused. I just need to show up earlier. All right, what is that? This is exactly what I told you in episodes 2228 and 2229, quantitative versus qualitative change. If you think all you need to reach your success is quantitative change, just do more, work harder, push myself more, etc., etc., etc. If that really was the case, sir or ma'am, you would already have it. All right, let's stop bullshitting ourselves. What you need is qualitative change. You need a change in the quality of what you're doing. In other words, you need some new approaches, not in everything in life. We don't need to change everything you're doing. But some things need a qualitative change. That's where the real change happens in life. That's people who multiply their success. They do it through qualitative changes, not through quantitative changes. Quantitative is addition. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Qualitative change, people multiply. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, do you see the difference? That's the difference. But again, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not in the business of changing people's minds. I'm in the business of talking to people who already are of the same mind as what I just described. So as I told you in those master classes, the biggest change that you will need are changes in quality. That means changes in your approach, your strategy, implementing new ideas that are different from what you've been doing and what has gotten you to this point. What has gotten you to this point is not a bad thing. All right, you got to be at some level of success anyway in order to invest in yourself. If you ain't got no money, how you gonna hire a coach? You can't do it. So you got to have done some good stuff up to this point, but you're gonna need to understand that a qualitative change is what's gonna take you to the next point. You get it? So when I sign up for a course, I go buy a course, I go buy a book, I go to a conference, I hire a coach. I'm not doing it so that that person can motivate me or inspire me to do more of what I'm already doing. I can do that by myself. Okay. While I might get some of that in the process of learning from that person, the reason I invest in a book, a course, a coach, a training, a program, the reason I invest, because I'm looking for some qualitative changes. In other words, I want you, expert or conference host or coach or course person, I want you to show me something that I otherwise never would have thought of if I hadn't come across you. That's what I want you to do. That's what I'm paying for. Now, I'm not saying all of you that's what you're looking for. Some people look for different things. And I talk to a lot of different people. Not everybody's looking for the same thing. But when I sign up for something, that's what I'm looking for. Show me something, ask me something, tell me something, give me a different approach that I otherwise never would have come up with by myself. That's what I want. Everybody got it? Because I understand that that's what's going to take me further. I know what I can do on my own. What I want you to help me do is take your insights, plug them into what I already got, and that's how we're going to start multiplying. You got it? Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is do not listen to yourself. Number 3, success in life is like running a relay race, so to speak. So your best knowledge, judgment, and execution gets you to a certain point in the relay race. Then what you do is you hand off the baton to someone or something else, which takes you a bit further. All right, that's the relay. Sometimes you just got to hand it off to somebody else. You can't do everything by yourself, and you shouldn't do everything by yourself because you ain't good at everything. So if you're doing everything by yourself, anyone listening to me right now, if you're doing everything in your business right now by yourself, I know that there are some areas of your business that are not running very well at all, because I know just by simple logic that you ain't good at everything. So that means you are by definition doing something that you're not good at, which means it can't be producing a good result because you're not good. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. Somebody here who's doing everything in your business right now by yourself and you're doing all of it well, somebody hit me up, tell me who you are and what you're doing, because you have a skill set that no other human on this planet has ever had. You can do everything well. Nobody does everything well. All right, this is why you got to hand the baton off to somebody other than you. Okay? You hand it off to someone or something else, they take you further, and so forth and so on. Okay? So one idea or style does not run the entire relay race. The only constant in a relay race is, yes, it's you running the whole time, but the ideas and the executions don't have to come from you. So your ideas got you to point A. Okay, so let's say 100 is the goal, right? Your goal was to get to 100. You started at 0. So your ideas and execution might get you to 35. Somebody else will get you from 35 to 65. Someone else will get you from 65 to 95. Someone else gets you 95 to 100. Okay? And that's how you got to look at things. And maybe somebody can get you from 35 to 100. Maybe it could be the same person the entire time. Like athletes might have the same trainer the whole time. A business person might have the same coach all the way through. But I guarantee it's going to be at least more than one person. All right, it ain't gonna be one person. One person can't go from 0 to 100. Nobody does. There's no one who's ever done it. Name one person. You can't. There is no one. Now, whether you know about the other people in their circle is a different story. But whether there is another person in the circle, there absolutely is. Not a single person you can name. Famous person, politician, entertainer, musician, athlete, business person, idea person, entrepreneur, whoever, inventor. Not a single person did everything by themselves. Even Steve Jobs, I'm sitting here looking at a couple iPhones here on my desk. When Steve Jobs was creating the iPhone, if you didn't read Walter Isaacson's book called Steve Jobs, I would suggest that you read it. Even if you're not a tech person, the principles of what Steve Jobs did is what I want you to get from the book. It's not about you being a fan of Steve Jobs himself. But when Steve Jobs wanted to create the iPhone, one of the ideas that he had was he had this idea of having a device that could have the touch screen. Like if you look at your phone, those of you who are old enough to remember, you know that there was a time up until about maybe 2000 and when the iPhone came out, whatever year the iPhone came out, that all phones had the buttons, right? The actual buttons that you press. Remember the BlackBerry phones, you had the buttons, and the buttons can get sticky. You drop something on it, the buttons get all sticky and nasty and all that kind of stuff. And Steve Jobs had this idea of, can we have a touch screen to where you don't actually have any buttons on the phone? Somebody can just tap their fingers on the screen and the screen will register that you're pushing the buttons on the phone. This was a revolutionary idea that when Steve first came with the idea, his engineers said, this can't be done. And Steve said, oh, not only can it be done, but you're going to figure it out. Steve didn't figure it out. He told his engineers to figure it out. And they went and found this glass that was transparent enough, for lack of a better term. I'm not a tech person. Transparent enough to where you could press it and the phone would register that you're touching it, but at the same time strong enough that if somebody dropped it, it wouldn't necessarily crack. Now, I've never had a cracked phone screen, but I have dropped my phone more than once. So you could drop it, but it's not going to break immediately, but transparent enough that it can still register the touches. That was a new idea that Steve Jobs came up with, but he didn't execute it on his own. He didn't find the glass. His engineers found the glass, and they're the ones who made it work. He told them what he wanted to happen. They went and made the how of how it was actually going to happen. So not even he, this guy who is revered as a genius, and I've mentioned him many times on the show, he didn't even do everything by himself. This is the reason why, folks, relationships are key to success and happiness, because one idea or style does not run the entire relay race. You use other people. We are social creatures for a reason, because we were built to interact with each other. Don't try to do everything on your own, because there's no need for you to do that. That's the hardest way to do things, is doing everything by yourself, because you are limited to only your intelligence. And again, the smartest human beings I know are experts in maybe 2 to 3 things. And then they outsource, or they at least have help. And when I say outsource, it doesn't necessarily mean hiring somebody. Outsource just means when you need help with something, you get the information from someone other than yourself. That's what I mean when I say outsource. All right, so you don't have to have people on staff to outsource information. So when I want information about a phone, I go to Apple's website and let them tell me what's going on. I don't go off my own judgment. I don't know anything. That's not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is this right here, what I'm doing right now. You listening to my voice. This is what I do. All right, my 2 or 3 areas are something around this. This is what I do. And when I need information on other things, I go to other sources. Do not do everything by yourself. That is the dumbest way to do things. It's the slowest way to do things. And it's very inefficient, because you ain't good at everything. So you're going to suck at some of those things when you're trying to do them all by yourself. So let's recap today's class, which is don't listen to yourself. Again, the story, person had a luxury vehicle. The mechanic said, get a $600 battery replacement. He said, no, you're just trying to get money out of me. Or at least he thought that. Then he spent $21,000 on repairs and realized that if he had just replaced the battery like the mechanic said, then he never would have had to spend all that money on repairs. So this is how you know sometimes your best judgment is not the best judgment. Number 1, listen to the advice of your experts, coaches, and mentors, especially when that advice runs counter to what you think. That's the way it's supposed to go, okay? A good trainer or coach is going to show you stuff that you otherwise never thought of. They're going to give you light bulb moments or aha moments and say, damn, you know what? I never thought of that. I'm glad you said that. Even though it goes against the grain of everything you thought up to this point. That's what it's supposed to happen. Point number 2. Remember what I told you about qualitative versus quantitative change in episodes 22, 28, and 29? Changes, that's episodes 22, 28, and 22, 29, by the way. Changes in quantity you can do by yourself. This is doing more or less. Changes in quality, you're going to need insight from someone other than yourself. What you already know got you here. You need someone else to help take you further. Number 3, success in life is like running a relay race. Your best knowledge gets you to a certain point, then you need other people's knowledge to get you to the next point or to the end of the race. We are social creatures for a reason. We are built to interact with and use other people. You use them, they use you. This is not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. It's exactly how things are supposed to happen. If you are not using other people and being used by other people, then you are being very inefficient in the way you are living your life. Get out of the house, get off your phone, and go make some damn friends. Work on your game. Now, 2 things for you to do. Text me to get my daily motivation, 305-384-6894, and go to workonyourgame.net. That's where you can get access to my new 45-minute training, how to increase your income from the 6 to 7-figure level without running yourself off of the treadmill or into the ground. And the process of doing it, we're going to start talking about how to get systematic and strategic about your business instead of just doing things, hard work, playing whack-a-mole, being in what I call tactical hell, which if you're in it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Go to workonyourgame.net. Access the training. At the end, I'll tell you how to schedule a call with me. We'll get on the phone, we'll get on Zoom, and we'll talk about what we need to talk about, how I can help you map all of this out and actually put it to use. Work on your game. Dre all day.